and welcome to our podcast, GoddeSShips, where we discuss how ships affect lives. For those of you who are returning, thank you for your continued support. Those of you who are just joining us, welcome back. And we hope that you will join us again. Goddesses and guys, remember that we are available wherever you listen to your podcasts, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, GeoSaving, and of course, here on YouTube. Oh, and iHeartRadio. I am Keely, the Soul Snatching Goddess.
And I am Melinda, the crew member. Wait, I'm sorry. I was on another person's podcast and I had to change my title. And I didn't know that it changed it on here. Oh my goodness, that is hilarious. I was like the crew member. I am the FACKTgoddess, F.A.C.K.T. So y'all have to excuse what you see on the screen.
It's hilarious. Wow.
Girl, I was like the crew member. Look, that's wild because they used.
I didn't even notice it until you said crew member. I was like, who a crew member?
At any rate, we like for you to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast and hit the notification bell so that when we have new episodes, you'll be one of the first ones to be notified.
Yes. Oh my God, that is hilarious. Do you want to change it or are you going to be crew member tonight?
I'll change. I can't remember how I changed. I think I got to go out and come back in.
Okay. You can go. I'll do that while you're doing that. We'll multitask.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to big myself up so I can do my shirt cam. It says, thick chicks don't turn heads. We break necks. Just so that y'all know. Yay for my shirt cam. Okay, and while we're waiting on FACKTgoddess to change her name back to FACKTgoddess, I will go ahead and let you all know what tonight's episode is about. So tonight we're beginning a new series. It's called in that series and Grandparentships. So we'll discuss the levels from the top to the bottom. And so it's a little hard to do research for this one, but here we go. And let me see, did she come back? Wait 1 second. The fact, there she go. All right. There we go. She's back.
That was quite funny.
Back again. That was a hilarious. All right. So I just introduced the topic for tonight, which were the ships. So even though I would hope that everyone knows the definition of a grandparent, I'm going to give it anyway. Grandparents are the father or mother of a person's own father and or mother. Grandparent. So we decided to talk about this and make it a series because we noticed the differences in grandparents of old and now. I was even at one point asked, after being asked how old my boys were, asked if I was a grandparent. And I almost I gasped and almost fell out and all this other stuff. Is Floyd here? Wait a minute. Oh, we got Floyd. Hello, sir. Welcome.
Hello, world. Hello.
Glad to have you.
I'm glad to
All
have
right,
me
so
too.
I was saying,
Carry on.
you glad to have you too? So we were talking about tonight's series is generational shifts, and we're starting off with grandparents. And I was talking about how at one point when I was asked how old my boys was, somebody asked me if I was a grandparent, and I kind of almost took offense to it a little bit because I'm like, what you mean? Am I a grandparent? You try to say a little old or something else? But then I realized that's today's society. Like people are younger grandparents. So
Grandma. Hi.
I had to kind of like think about it, and they don't look, like Mima and Grand. They my age, and that's rough. But oh well.
Granny in the club with the grandkids.
Huh?
Granny in the club with the grandkids.
Yeah, and her children.
Yeah. Granny 35.
All the generations up in the club getting it.
Sure.
Like even when I was trying to
Yes.
do research for this, like the associated topics were 6 ways on how to be a sexy grandma and being a fabulous and famous grandma. Like, nobody talk about that about grandmas back in the day. But anyway, I digress.
Yo.
All right, so I know in speaking with my own mother about future moves I was saying I was gonna purchase a house, and she asked me what changed my mind from my condo move that I was originally talking about. And I was telling her, like, as my boys get older, if they decide to have kids, I want for them to have a grandma house to come to, like my kids had grandma house to go to. But sometimes that's far and few between. We lose a lot of the stuff that we tried to have back in the day. But I'm not rushing them to make me no grandma by any means. Please wait. Sons, if y'all can hear me in the atmosphere, wait and don't make me no grandma no time soon.
I ain't taking care of no grandkids. Fuck them.
Listen, I already done told I'm gonna be if I'm a grandma early, God forbid, Jesus. But if I am, I'm gonna be like the young grandmas. I'm gonna be like, I can't babysit because I'm going out or I'm going out of town. You made this baby, you do what you need to do. Because I'm going out and you can't.
I refuse to suffer for my children's weak pullout game. So I will not
not
be
the weak pullout game.
Not be babysitting no. Good.
Jesus.
I'm good.
So the reason I was saying this one was a bit hard to kind of research for is because it's no real comparison to old grandmas and new grandmas. But I did find an article that a grandma wrote where she was talking about the differences in when she was doing parenting opposed to her child doing parenting today. So she said back then, for early childhood activities, it was eating, drinking, and pooping. And sometimes those are done simultaneously. But now her child has her babies doing swim class at 6 months, cognitive development coaches at a year, and some of these grandparents are having to run their grandkids to these places. So yeah, it's a big difference. Because I think the only reason my kids did learn how to swim was because of their grandparents.
Oh.
That was bad. Do y'all agree with this and the new way that parents are doing their babies lately?
Ladies.
Are we here? Are we here?
I'm here. I was letting the ladies go first.
Thing lie?
I think that grandparents these days are a lot more lenient on grandchildren. They just do whatever they want to do. And that used to be. It just blows my mind. That's why I got to think about it. Because like my mother is a grandparent And the way my nieces and nephews get away with stuff just blows my mind. I'm like, there is no way that would have happened like 10 years ago. So, I just think it's a lot more of let's get along or let's go along to get along than discipline these days. They don't want teenagers to be irate and act sporadically. So it's like, spoon feed them what they want, whether it's right or wrong. It's like morals and values have taken the back seat to grandparents just being like, okay, I'm gonna let your mom and daddy handle that. Come on over here and do what you want to do. That's what I see.
Mm-hmm. Floyd?
Oh, I mean, I would agree. No, I just, I mean, when I was coming up, my grandparents, they were a source of, they were like a getaway for me. So they let me do certain things that I couldn't do at home, but it was still a respect factor as opposed to these days, it's a little different. I mean, yeah, I guess I would say the grandparents these days are a little more, they still trying to find their youth. Whereas grandparents, we was coming up, they kind of were more settled, stable, they were living their life, but it's a little different.
Yeah,
So
they did they run in the streets.
right, they were done with it as opposed to these grandparents, it's they in the club too. Shit, they getting it popping too. They on social media twerking and all type of stuff. So it's a little different. A little different. A little different. He might be dating somebody,
All right.
grandma. Gilf. That's the gilf. That's what a gilf is. Gilf.
Oh, that's a whole lot right there.
Yeah, gilfs.
A loud conversation. Back then, it was strictly no comments from the peanut gallery, which is the kids' table, but they were close enough to hear the dirty jokes and the cigarette smoke and feel a part of the festivities. Kids now join the guests at the dinner table, and the conversation
Yes.
is with and about them.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. That's very true. What do you think is the difference? Do y'all think that like this technology age, this social media age is the reason, or you just think it's a breakdown? It's more of a breakdown in the family structure is the reason.
I think it's a little of both.
I think it's a combination of both.
I think, yeah, I think that the technology is what kids are exposed to. So
Right.
sometimes their conversations are more grown up than it most definitely needs to be. And instead of checking that, sometimes a lot of people allow the conversation to continue. Like I've never, and it still bothers me if I'm in a place and it's only grown-ups that are here talking, but then you have this one child who all ears in it, just standing in the room. Why are you here? Go find some children. Go play with the kids. This is not where you're supposed to be. Get up out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Is what should be said. But a lot of times, whoever that parent is, because they're young, they're like, "Oh, she fine. She didn't heard this. She know." No.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Because
not doing that.
I think like
Wait till it's her time.
yeah, because I did a lot of sneaking. Like if I was around too long, I got put in my place, for lack of a better word. Like you gonna get your ass whooped. You keep hanging around grown folk. Like they only gave you just a little bit. And the reality of it is our grandparents was young too when they became grandparents, but the dynamics was just different. Because if you really think about it, most grandparents became grandparents in what, they 30s, 40s, and 50s or whatever. But the world was just a different place. You know, it was more respect. I just think it's a lack of respect. It's a lack of a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, it's not. I had a certain respect for my grandparents. You know, I'm not gonna talk out of turn. Shit, 95% of the time, I'm not gonna question them. What they say was law to me. You know what I mean? So I didn't do that. But these days, it's more inclusive. Whereas opposed to back then, they set boundaries. You know, stay in a child place. You know, stuff like that. So just it's a little different. Yeah, it's a little different. I don't want to be nobody's grandparent. I'm cool.
And I think this kind of even a little bit of the setup because, like those saying, stay in a child's place and those things, and those parents are now, or when they are have feelings too, let them express themselves. Let them say what they want to say, and then that turns into not just allowing a child to express themselves, but becoming a form of disrespect too. Because if they do and mark, because kids watch what you do. So if you cuss, they might cuss, and then you laughing at it like it's cute, but it ain't cute. And then they take that and they do it into the world because you thought it was cute.
This is true. I think it was your exposure was more controlled too. What we were exposed to was more controlled. Like with the World Wide Web and the internet age, children can be exposed to certain things with just a finger tap. Whereas when we were coming up, your exposure came through your parents, through your grandparents. You know, your grandparents might have took you fishing or, you know, stuff like that. Your exposure came through them. Whereas opposed to now with this technology, a kid can say it again. I'm sorry.
Me?
Huh? Yeah, because it's like a delay on my.
Yeah, it's like the connection is real weird.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what I sound like. But y'all like skipping when you talk and freezing. It's weird.
Yes. Yeah,
but anyway, I just was saying when he was saying that the grandparents were the ones that did a lot of things with you, I was saying like they're the ones that took you to church. For a lot of kids. That was their connection to going to church. If their parents didn't do it, their grandparents certainly were going to do it, or even just grandma. Maybe not even both of them, but grandma.
Right. It's a little different. You might see your grandma on Pornhub these days.
Really? Gosh.
Good Lord. Or have an OnlyFans.
See,
allowable questions. When questions were asked. When questions were asked, the answer was because I'm your mama and I said so. And now they have such a rash action until he or she understands and accepts your point of view.
The world and got soft.
We still talking about the grandparents?
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
It just sounds fucked up, don't it? It's bad. It sounds bad. I don't.
I mean, like even though Floyd was, I think he was maybe half joking, maybe not, but when he said that you might date somebody's grandma or you might catch them on Pornhub, I think the one of the major differences is grandparents are younger, so that changes the role, because when you have more elderly grandparents, the majority of their role is being loving and endearing and teachers, and you know, they're the ones that give you the advice and the life lessons because they've lived life. But now you have grandparents that are still living life. So their connection, that being endearing and encouraging and all of that might be out the door, depending upon where that grandparent's mind frame is. Because, you know, if you're a grandparent at 35, 40 years old, you still learning life, as opposed to being a grandparent that's 70 or 80. You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, unfortunately, grandparents are so much younger now. When you talk about decades younger, that completely changes the game of what a grandparent does, or what even a grandparent is expected to do.
Yeah, because my grandmother was 68 years old when I came along. My granddaddy, I think he was 74. So, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I grew up with grandparents. Like, the wildest shit they did was, my grandma had this, you remember that record, She's a Bad Mama Jamma? Remember that shit? Okay, they would put that 45 record on for all y'all out there youngsters. A 45 was a record, a small record.
The little one.
On, yeah, the little record. They would put that on, and they would get in the middle of the
piece in the middle.
And my grandma had this tight ass dance that was like bell bottoms. She'd do this dance called the fishtail, and she'd move her ass from left to right. My granddaddy get up, he be doing this shit, and the dog get up on two legs. That was the wildest shit I ever seen my grandparents do. You know, so nowadays, you know, grandma having threesomes, you know what I'm saying? All type of shit. But I had real grandparents, like they was old as hell, and they was some cool ass people. We heard stories about their wildness. We didn't experience the wildness with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so yeah. But yeah, she's a bad mama jamma, the fishtail. Rest in peace, Irma Davis.
Yeah.
The fishtail.
Yeah.
Yeah. The fishtail. So yeah. So that, you know, grandma, you know, shit, my kids in their 20s. So if they decide to have a weak ass pullout game at some point, you know, I'm gonna be just hitting 50 maybe if they have some children. You know what I mean? And I ain't done living yet. You know, so you know, and it's bound to happen the way my kids moving around. Shit, they gonna slip up eventually. God damn.
Oh Lord, don't say that. Don't speak that on me.
I mean, I hope not, but you know, the reality of it is, shit, my kids out here fucking and everything else. Shit, I hope they don't slip up and have no kids. You know, keep them covered, Lord, keep them covered.
Rain covered.
Huh?
Yes, great rain coverage.
Oh, these kids
great rain
rubbers.
Coverage. Keep them in the umbrellas and the galoshes.
These kids think it's cool to go raw and shit till they catch some fucked up shit. You gotta go to the little red schoolhouse.
Oh,
these kids something else. They do. I'm just saying.
Please don't. I know. I used to be able to go because my grandmother lived out of town. So for summers, I would be majority of the time in the summer at my grandmother's house. And she was in Alabama and we was on the farm. So
okay.
Feed chickens and hogs and goats.
Oh no, shit.
And then go do fun stuff with grandma because she wanted to do fun stuff.
I city boy. My grandma and granddad lives 615 East 50th Place on Champlain. And we was in the middle of a neighborhood, and the whole neighborhood was black as hell. And it was some really cool shit. And shit, I used to go to other people's house and play games like Clue and shit. Hide and seek, catch a girl, pump a girl, and stuff like that. We did that type of shit. They used to call it pumping back in the day. Pumping? Pumping? I remember pumping. They call it grinding now.
Pumping. I do remember hide and go. I remember high and go get.
That's catch a girl, freaky girl. It's the same thing. But you end up just pumping. Be at
Yeah,
my
yeah,
grandma's house in the backyard pumping.
Mm-hmm.
Hope I didn't get caught. Those are good
Mm,
days.
mm. Whole mess.
Pumping.
What is that in that grape juice?
I'm sorry, y'all. Pumping. I had a flashback. I'm sorry. I was thinking about good stuff. Pumping.
Oh, a hot mess. The only other thing I saw was it referred to about the differences in birthday parties back then and now. She said it used to be a bucket of fast food fried chicken, some spur of the moment party games, and that was that. And now it's a professional magician, live jungle animals, solar power bounce houses, gift bags from Apple.
We went to Carson's for ribs. Downtown
Oh,
Chicago. Birthdays. That was it. Birthdays and Mother's Day. That was a hoity-toity place to go. Carson's for ribs. We went there, ate, went back to the crib, sat with grandma and granddaddy, and that was it. Because they wasn't highfalutin at all. But they used to make sure they brought them plastic bags so they could take some of that shit to the crib on the low-key side of the girl. But yeah, that was it. Wasn't no
with
party,
that
nothing
big
like
purse.
that. They had card parties, bid whist. They just play bid whist. That was probably the most, celebrate stuff like that. Had their friends come over and all that stuff. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Bounce house. Damn, I just seen a bounce house over here not too long ago. I thought with the COVID they wouldn't have had nothing like that, but I guess they is bouncing their ass off in these houses. Ain't no way. Ooh, man. They was
don't nobody care about COVID.
Apparently not. Apparently not. It's like they got, that's another conversation, but they don't give a fuck about COVID around here. They don't care. Nobody care. They don't care. Nobody care. They go, I care. I care.
You made me think of something, Keely, like that I was thinking of saying before you mentioned it about the food. Like I think back in the day everyone was well fed at grandma's. You would leave your parents' house to go to grandma's house to eat because you could always eat at grandma's. She gonna have something either already done or brewing, when you get there. And then it was also I think of that movie Soul Food, how the grandmother was the glue to the family, and then like once she left, it was like everybody started breaking up. The traditions went out the window. The Sunday dinner ended. The respect was gone, and I think that was a pretty popular movie because most Black families could relate to the connection that everybody would have to the grandmother. But and I know, like for me, I had the Bible toting, scripture quoting grandma, and then I had the street grandma. So you could also, if you had more than one grandparent, you had the opportunity to gain just all type of life lessons on different levels. Balances you out. Unfortunately, I only had a great grandfather. I never knew either one of my grandfathers because they both passed before I was born. That's not true. My one grandfather passed while I was alive, but my grandma didn't like him and didn't tell me until he died. She was like, "Your granddaddy died." I was like, "What? Wait, I had a grandfather?" that was Evie, honey. She was like, "Oh yeah, your grandpa died." I was like, "Grandma,
damn,
where was he?" She was like, "Over there in South Bend." Grandma, are you serious?
Damn.
She was like, "He wasn't worth."
And he was close.
Girl, she said he wasn't worth nothing. I said, "How can you determine whether or not I should have a relationship with my grandfather?" Like, I don't understand that.
Dang.
Yeah.
And then, damn.
I had a missed opportunity, but you know.
She's like, nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah. But I did.
Well, I knew my
have the
grandfather.
Yeah, who?
I said I knew my paternal grandfather, not my maternal.
Oh, okay.
Huh?
I just said okay.
Yeah, that delay is something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's crazy this episode.
Ain't it? What is going on tonight?
I don't know.
This is you the main lover vein, honey. Yeah. You tell us what's going on.
I mean, I can't. It's not showing me anything, but of course we can see it. You know,
it's like a Wang Chung video. It just be like, and then to come back in.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna say this too. What I used to enjoy about my grandparent, especially on my maternal side. Well, no, both of them, because it would be my maternal grandmother talking to my mama, and my paternal grandmother talking to my daddy. They can check them real quick, and they'll shut on up, and you be like, oh, so all I gotta do is tell grandma, and then you gonna be quiet. Now I did enjoy that. They ain't going up against their mama. If they're respectful anyway, you know what I'm saying.
Right,
like
right.
That was a wonderful thing to see.
That's a double-edged coin right there. Because I've done that and ended up getting my ass whooped later. Well, my mama was like, "Don't," because like my mama might have said something I didn't agree with. And I would go tell my grandma, and my grandma would cuss her out or something. You know, stupid woman. My grandma called her all type of names. And then I would end up getting my ass whooped later on.
Because you know.
Right. But it would be under a different reason. But it has that you snitch energy in the ass. You know what I'm talking about? That's what it be. Because I'd have had that shit. I'd be like, Grandma, I don't think I like the way Mom said this. And my grandma would be like, let me talk to your mama. Denise, you know, going to her thing. About 3-4 days later, I catch her ass whooping for some stupid ass shit. You know what I'm saying? You ain't put the tissue on the road. It really because I a few days ago. You know, shit like that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. I did used to like hear my grandma cuss my mom out.
Ooh,
God.
See, my grandma didn't cuss my mama out, but she made her feel like she did. And then my grandma, she cussed my daddy out. My other grandma, she cussed my daddy out. He was getting cussed out for sure. And he'd be like, you think that's funny? I do.
My grandma called my mom a stupid woman a lot. She said, stupid woman. Real? And then my nickname became rabbit ass motherfucker for many years. Yeah, I was rabbit ass motherfucker, fat motherfucker, black motherfucker, ignorant motherfucker. I just knew my last name was motherfucker. The first name was interchangeable, but the last name was always motherfucker. Rabbit ass motherfucker. But she was stupid woman. My grandma, stupid woman. She had a way she could say it. It was just stupid woman. It was strong way she used to say it. I used to love it. I get my ass whooped after that, but I missed that shit. Stupid woman.
It was worth the whooping.
Worth it. It was so worth it. Because she used to whoop my ass and I'd be sitting there singing afterwards. And I'd be sitting in the room to myself like, that's why Graham called you stupid woman. I say it real low though. You know, I say it in my inside voice. Because I couldn't take no round two, no ass whooping. But it was with the inside voice, you know. That's why Graham called you stupid woman. Man, you know. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. My mama was an ass-whooping mama, I tell you that. Which, that's another thing, too. My grandma, my grandfather didn't, they wasn't like an ass-whooping couple. Yet my mother was an ass-whooping mother. So I don't know where the rift, you know, where that disconnection came off at. You know, because my mama whooped our ass, but from what I understand, my grandparents didn't whoop a lot of ass. But my mama she's an ass whooper. Oh God, she can whoop some ass now. I didn't even hit the shit. Hold on. She could whoop some ass. I'm sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I discovered some new shit and I can't get enough of it.
What is it?
What
It's
is
some
it?
cheap. It's some
That's
cheap
what I wanted to
ass.
ask you.
It's some cheap ass bullshit. So y'all can talk about me, but I discovered it when I was back home. It's called Stella Rosa Red. It's like $13.
Oh,
It's just a
Yeah.
sweet
we
red
know what that
wine.
is.
It's some cheap ass shit, but it tastes so damn
It's
good. It's only like
Good, you're
5%.
fine. Nobody's
Stella Rosa is good.
It's 5% alcohol, and when I tell you, it's like I just be sipping. It'd be like drinking Kool-Aid back in the day. And you know, I ain't no big drinker, but I thought I'd have a shot of wine. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't looked back with this shit.
I mean, I'm happy that you discovered it, but it is everywhere.
Oh, I ain't tripping. I didn't know. You know, I don't be knowing because I don't really.
No, I'm
like
just
that.
telling you, Stella Rosa is everywhere.
Well, that's cool. Well, I'm glad it is because it's pretty fucking tasty. And I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I went to Walmart. Y'all know I hate Walmart. But I bought a couple of bottles. And it's been fantastic.
All right.
Fantastic.
Well, kudos to you. Enjoy your wine.
God bless Stella and wine. God bless. It's a beautiful thing. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but I've heard stories of my grandmother and her different treatments, because she didn't whoop a lot, but she whooped some. But she had and I think that's possibly where I get my shit from. Anyway, her punishments would go with whatever it was that you did. So, like, for instance, my mother always tells a story where she was told to make Kool-Aid for her brothers and sisters while the other ones was cooking, and she made it too sweet. But she was gonna make them still drink it instead of stretching it with some waters or whatever, and they told on her. So my grandma tasted it and tasted how sweet it was. She was like, "Oh, so you was just gonna make them drink this?" And she said, "So you got to drink the whole pitcher yourself." And she said it was so sweet that she would drink a cup and throw up a cup. And she said, "Keep drinking. I don't give a fuck if you throw it all up. Keep drinking till you finish the whole."
That's some sweet.
Oh,
That's that Kool-Aid when you
man.
taste the sugar at the bottom of the cup.
Next time, don't make something for somebody that you wouldn't drink yourself.
Yeah. That's when the sugar be, that's when you drink the Kool-Aid and the sugar be coming out the cup at the bottom, be thick at the bottom. Thick ass good Kool-Aid. I ain't had that shit in a long time.
Yeah. So I think my grandma where I get my little stuff from, because I sure get my kids back like that. I ain't gotta whoop you, but your ass gonna be punished. You gonna not do this shit no more. I promise you.
Now my grandma did tie me up to the fireplace at one point in my life. That's about it. Yeah.
Whoa.
Because the story goes, the way I heard the story was I used to crawl around a lot. And so they had like this gate in the hallway. And I was a big head boy, you know, because I was 11 pounds and like, I think I was 11 pounds and a whole bunch of, I can't remember, but I was a big ass kid. And I used to crawl around. Yeah, I was 11 pounds and some ounces. I remember that. And I used to crawl. My grandma had like this gate in the hallway, like to separate, I guess, because to keep the dog out. And I would crawl, and my head would get stuck in the gate. And so I guess she got tired of that shit. And so they had like the little fake ass fireplace in the front room. And they tied me up to that motherfucker. They tied me up to it. Tied me to the fireplace. This is a true story now. So, you know, yeah. Yeah. Tied to the fireplace.
His head got caught in the gate. Oh my
like
God.
Gina in the headboard, I swear for the Lord it did. That's what they told me. I head get caught in the little gate. And you know the gates, some old gates that had the little diamonds in it, you pull them apart and it be the little diamond cuts in between them. And she said my head gets stuck right in that motherfucker and they take me out and I crawl right back in and get stuck in the motherfucker. So they got tied. And they tied me up to the fireplace to keep me from fucking up, you know.
Oh my God.
It was for your own safety. It was for your own
apparently
safety.
Apparently so.
Oh my
The dog kept me
God.
tied to the fireplace. Dog used to kick it
Yeah.
with me.
Huh?
So yeah. I said the dog used to kick it with me when I got tied to the fireplace, according to the story. So, you know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that was all the research that I had. I don't know if you guys have anything else that you want to say that you feel like your grandparents used to do that doesn't happen anymore. I know that my parents as grandparents are different, way different than they was as parents, and I don't like it. I talk about them all the time. Soft.
I would like to say that the grandparents of old, excuse me, Lord, but the grandparents of old were not the most attractive people in the world. You know, the beauty was the eye of the beholder. You know, they was older. You know what I'm talking about. Well, these days, the grandmothers are quite striking. So, you know, I'll say that's the difference.
Striking.
Striking. Because you know the old grandmas, they was big legs.
I don't agree with that.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. Just from the male perspective, I've seen some striking grandmothers of these days. In my days growing up, the grandmothers I saw were, you know, big old. It just no. But these grandmas these days, I be seeing they be, you know, they be all right. But you know, we
and
all have
sometimes that
different.
also comes from a change in lifestyle, because back in the day there was a lot of unhealthy things that grandmothers made and cooked. For instance, chitlins and all that bacon and them biscuits that was made with that lard that they patted by hand and all that stuff. So sometimes that attributes to a difference. Now it's more health conscious. Grandmas is exercising and getting in the gym, doing they Meg the Stallion exercises, keep their legs, whatever.
To go back to the soul food reference, Big Mama did die because she was eating all that motherfucking soul food too. just to put that out there, the fat back pork ribs and cornbread killed Big Mama. I'm just saying. So you know, they more health conscious these days than they was back in the day. I'm just saying. So you know, Big Mama died at fat back.
Even though I would love to know to have learned how my grandma made her biscuits, because boy, I felt like Martin about my grandma biscuits.
She made them from scratch.
My mama biscuits. Yes.
Are they from scratch?
Woo!
I never go from scratch biscuits, man. God.
Oh my God. I don't know what she used to do, but they were so fluffy and fattening. I ain't need nothing but that and she had that homemade syrup. Woo! Baby, that's all I needed. You can give me the
homemade syrup.
Yes.
How you make homemade syrup?
I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I knew how to make them biscuits, but because I want my grandmama biscuits.
Dang. I never had no from scratch biscuits and no homemade syrup. We had Allerga and K-Row.
No, them, and they were so fluffy, but they was fattening as hell because she used lard and something. I don't even know, but they were so fattening, and my fat ass sat right there in her living room with my plate and
I gotta get a screenshot of that. That freeze up right there. I had to get a screenshot of that freezer. That looked like Remy Jackson from the Centipede video. You know that? Centipede.
Oh God, I can't breathe. Oh my God.
I got the screenshot for that shit.
I would say something to you, Floyd, but I've gotten you a couple of times as well.
A couple of times.
So I shall allow it.
Shit, ain't no couple. You got shit you ain't shown me yet. I know. That's why I be mindful of all my expressions now. You see, I just smile, or I be like this now.
You don't have to be. Okay.
Got that Remy Jackson up.
Oh, I can't. Oh my God. But anyway, so if all hearts and minds are clear, it's time for I love you, but still
I
need your
couldn't think of one to do.
You didn't think of one? What kind of
You
mess
should be
is
like,
that?
I love you, but all right, then I'm sorry. Go ahead, carry on.
I could not think of
That is a
one.
hot mess. But we still need your suggestions, either way it goes, at the FACKTgoddess@gmail.com, and that is FACKT goddess@gmail.com, and it will be in the description below.
I would like to speak on behalf of the Fat Goddess, which is something that is just ridiculous for me to do at any point in my life. But I had been doing a lot of thinking about this I love you but over these months, right? And how people would never bring no suggestions to the table. And what the understanding I have come to, and y'all may agree, I think that people don't come with suggestions because they are victims of the poor language that you speak of on the I love you but. I think people don't give a suggestion because indirectly you be talking about them and they be listening. They be like, God damn, I didn't know it was a difference between word and weird. Oh shit, I can't get no suggestions. I believe that's really what it is. Straight up, I believe it. I believe it. Especially the one you did last time. I believe that in my heart.
You talking about worser and worse?
Huh?
You talking
I
about worse?
believe that. I believe that. You think about how many people you come into contact with to be like, it was the worstest situation I ever
Oh my gosh.
So those people, I believe, do not offer suggestions because they are grammatically inept, and you are indirectly talking about those people, and it hits a chord with them. So they don't want to offer suggestions because they might have sent you one that said worstest was a word, not even knowing. You understand what I'm saying? So I just want to put that out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm throw that out there.
Now, I can see that as a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And to those of you who feel that way, I'm going to say this. Don't be ashamed. She'll correct it before she does it. So even if you're wrong, she'll give you the right. And for the love of God, tell you what not to say. So come on and send your suggestions. We still want it.
It's like the old folks. They didn't put erasers on pencils because people made mistakes. So come on and send your suggestions in. Come on.
That's right.
I cannot.
And then God made a cucumber so you can erase your pen mark too.
Do what?
You can use a cucumber and erase your pen mark. God did that.
I didn't know nothing about that.
I didn't know that either. You fucked me up with that one.
So it ain't no mistakes. Just come on and give us all your everything.
Wait a minute. Is that just a saying or is that what you really do?
No, that really, you can really use the.
You can erase a pen mark with a cucumber off clothes or on paper.
On paper and on your walls.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah. That's an old Southern remedy. Because I ain't never heard of that. I was like, what?
On the next episode of GoddeSShips, got pen marks? Cucumbers are the way of the future. I did not know that shit.
Yeah.
You see, we both was like, are you joking? Are you serious?
I feel like the Fat Goddess. I needed some clarity on that motherfucker right now.
And I had it for you. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, but perpetrator or not, send your suggestions.
That's right. Send them in.
She gonna fix you up. She
gonna learn.
Make it right. Yeah.
If anything, you gonna learn. You gonna learn.
Mm-hmm. Gonna learn today.
I have something for y'all next week. That I heard from one of you igaboo. No, it's not.
From a what? A igaboo?
Or I was gonna say igaboo, but that's nah. I don't feel like explaining what that is.
Okay, well, we're not gonna go there today. We'll save that for another episode.
Mm-hmm.
The slang terms of the fat guy.
There, hey, that might be a good episode. I got some good stuff.
You ain't got no slang.
Me?
Yeah, you proper
I
English
do have
speaker.
some. I think I
You
put some in
proper
my
English
archive.
speaker.
I mean, I try.
Well, if all hearts and minds are clear, are they?
Let the church say amen.
Amen. Amen.
The
And
church
All
say
then
right.
abandon ship.
what do you say?
Let the church say abandon ship.
Oh,
Especially when them tides come around.
Abandon.
Abandon ship.
Abandon. Look, ooh, getting it when they be finna put their collection plate around, they be like, get up out of the go in the back, go use the bathroom, come, everybody get up. The whole family going out the door.
I used to tie it to myself. I take a little something out the pot.
Lord.
Look, they say it's to help the community.
Oh,
Am I
Lord.
not part of the community? Church is tax free. Yeah. Give me some of the
Oh,
church.
no. Oh, okay. That concludes our show for the evening for somebody incriminate themselves stealing from the church.
I ain't tripping.
Thank you for joining in.
Oh, they could never meet their fun goal because of Floyd.
That's right.
And the pastor sitting up there like, I know I saw people putting in that plate. You the reason why they stopped passing the plate. You got to get up from your seat, go drop it in the box.
God said, give to the least of us.
Oh,
So
Lord.
I take for the least of us. Or I did at one point in time. I'm just
Okay,
saying.
Robin Hood.
Ooh.
Rev had a brand new Cadillac.
Who?
Jaguar. He ain't need them chickens.
Yeah, okay. So thank you for joining us. As we do our best to give you the content you deserve. Feel free to keep the conversation going below in the comments. We do look forward to reading them and we respond. Thank you to all of you who we have as new subscribers. We got a few. We need some more. Come on over and give it to us. All right. So don't forget to watch us on all streaming platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, Deezer, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, GeoSaving, iHeartRadio, and of course you can watch videos here on YouTube. Thank you again for those of you who tuned in. We look forward to seeing you next week. Tell a friend, like, share, subscribe to the video. Click the notification bell so that you know when we're coming on next. See you next week on GoddeSShips at 9 p.m. because every ship matters.
All ships aren't the same.
And life is lived on ships.
All right. Good to
Gilfs, send your numbers to FloydGod at gmail.com. Gilfs, send your little numbers to Floyd.